Welcome back to another episode of the Crypto Serpent. And if you do enjoy the videos, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Have I got an ecosystem for you that in the making, right? This is big. We're talking about big stuff here. We're talking about sport. More importantly, BetU and BetU Fantasy. Now today, in this particular episode, I'm covering off BetU Fantasy. And in the next video, I'm going to cover you BetU. And what's really fascinating is that the sport betting industry is enormous. And we'll run through some numbers about how big the opportunities are. But no one has quite tackled sport betting and sport fantasy on the blockchain like BetU Group has. And that's why I'm excited. Now, first things first, let's make sure we cover off the basics here. Please, gamble responsibly. As always, if you need some guidance, help, in regards to this particular side of life, please do reach out. There are plenty of organizations that can help with that. But the sport betting industry not only is an extremely exciting industry, it makes, obviously watching sport, playing sport, takes things to a whole new level. But the industry itself is gigantic, and we'll go over that. But I am super excited right now to bring you BetU Fantasy, and it's the only game you only win. So there's no downside, right? I mean, when with BetU, when we do go over that one, we'll talk about the betting industry and all that. But with BetU Fantasy, being a fantasy leagues and fantasy betting, there is nothing but upside, right? If you win the weekly prize, it's up to $10,000, right? So you can win up to $10,000 in crypto prizes every week for making fantasy bets on real sport and esport events. So there's no risk that there are only rewards. Now this launches in 21 days. I'm very fortunate that, in my line of work, I have the ability to research, to take the time to look at what's coming ahead. And when I think about sport, I love sport, right? I mean, I've been a go-kart racer since 15 years of age. I'm the type of person that when we sit at the couch and sport is on, doesn't matter what sport it is, I'm into it, right? And I know that if you're a sports fan, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Doesn't matter what sport it is, I'm into it. But this does launch in 21 days time, and I'll show you the Telegram, I'll show you the socials account, why I think this is going to be a big deal. Now with BetU Fantasy, you can join a league and win crypto. So there'll be different leagues that you can be a part of. You need one BetU token. That's all you need to be a part of it. And you can take it out at any time. Now, from NFL to League of Legends to EPL, you name it, there are going to be many different leagues that you can join and be a part of. Now, fantasy betting, real winning. So again, the real reward is that there are $10,000 of real BetU tokens paid out every week to the players who accumulate the most fantasy money. So that there will be part of the ecosystem. Now, 100 million crypto users, 495 million esport viewers, 2.69 billion gamers, and 3.5 billion soccer viewers around the globe. And no one yet is taking on this challenge like the challenge that BetU is taking when combining it with the blockchain industry. That is really what excites me, and that's why I've brought it to the channel, because this is something that if the entire BetU ecosystem can nail this, then they are going to be, I mean, look, I can say, if they nail it, this could be a 20x, 50x, 100x opportunity that we have. So, and that's how big the industry is, right? We're talking about big stuff. But when we're talking about fantasy, right? Because there's no risk, that becomes really interesting, from a branding point of view, from, gathering enthusiasts and sports players from around the world and put them into the fantasy ecosystem. To me, it's extremely clever. And I'll show you some of the social media activity, especially on Twitter, and what I mean by the potential that this particular ecosystem has. Now, winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing, right? I mean, sports people, we are extremely competitive people. And in the fantasy world, when there's no risk, it really, it's awesome, right? That you can be a part of it, be involved in the community of people that are interested in the same sport that you're interested in. I mean, I'll tell you what, as soon as the Formula One or MotoGP league starts, I'm there, right? I mean, it's just, you're just part of that community of enthusiasts, and there's nothing better than when you talk about your favorite sport to someone who's just as excited as you are about that particular sport, right? There's just something about it. Now, how BetU Fantasy works, right? So you join a league, so choose your favorite sport or esport and join the league. Then from there, you hold a BetU token, no cost to play, just hold one BetU token per league you want to join, and this can be withdrawn at any time as well, so there's no risk. Place your fantasy bets every week. So choose your fantasy bets wisely. Your fantasy winnings determine your real rewards. So you got to take this serious, right? I mean, just because there's no money being exchanged or, you don't have the risk of losing, it doesn't mean that, I think, be competitive, right? And make the right calls. And then winners every week. So the players with the most fantasy winnings each week win real BetU tokens to stake, hold, or sell. So fantasy balances are replenished every week. So every week we go back to zero and then we go again. So it really does reward people that put in the time and effort and make the right calls, which is something that we all want to do. Now, the BetU token is your ticket to the game. So users need to hold one token to join the minor league. And if you want to play in the major league and play for bigger rewards, you must hold 10,000 BetU tokens. Now, that there is for the big leagues, the big stuff, right? Which in future episodes we will cover off. For BetU and BetU Fantasy are going to be, mentioned on this channel, throughout the existence of the channel. Primarily because obviously, I have done my research and understand the project enough to know that this is going to last a while and it's going to be around for a long time. And if they nail it to even 50% of the expectations that I'm having, that they'll do it, it's going to be something that is going to be really, really worth holding long term, because it's one of those ecosystems that, sports betting is that big. Now, minor league 1, 10,000 for the major leagues. You can follow, of course, on PancakeSwap, CoinGecko, and CoinMarketCap, so you can keep up to date with that. And be one of the first, right? So how do you join the ecosystem? How do you get involved in the ecosystem? We do have 21 days to go before we go live. So the Telegram group, there are already 5,332 members and 603 of them are online right now as we speak. You just view on Telegram and join the Telegram group. Now, I want to show you the Twitter account. And the reason why I want to show you the Twitter account is it's already, from May, they've already got 3,633 followers. Now, the interesting part when it comes to an ecosystem like BetU and the social media potential reach, which we do talk about, on Zilliga videos about how good they are on social media, why social media activity is important. I mean, check this out, right? So when you look at this particular brand and you look at, first of all, the token is now listed on PancakeSwap. So it is available as of September 4th. Now, when I look at this, I'm looking for how often a brand posts and what type of content do they post. Now, when we scroll down and we're looking at this, right, they're tapping into all the relevant sports that have come out in the last couple of days. Then they put in relevant information about the token. But more importantly, they leverage content from existing sporting events. And that is really, really good. Really, really good. Now, when you're talking about building an ecosystem and building awareness and building a brand, the fact that they can tap into all these different sports, tap into all these different niches, and have all these different niches and people that are enthusiasts of all these different niches under the one umbrella, under the sporting world and the blockchain world, it's fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. And in the coming BetU video, we're actually going to be talking about the entire ecosystem, the white paper, and how, the BetU overall, right, the entire system works. So BetU Fantasy is one aspect that launches, obviously, in just 21 days. But the BetU ecosystem in its entirety, with the betting and all the other elements as well. And not to mention that in that particular video, we'll cover off the blockchain benefits of how this particular organization utilizing blockchain has a very, very different advantage to traditional betting platforms out there in the world. So super, super excited. I cannot wait, right? I cannot wait for this thing to launch, to get out there. I'd love your feedback on this and what you think. But if you do enjoy the videos, then don't forget to hit that like or subscribe button. As always, thank you. And I look forward to see you on the next one.